Good morning, Cancer. Good morning, good noon, good night, good evening, good day, good wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here. This is for Cancer or Cancer Cross Watchers. I don't know if this is you or if this is another individual, but someone here is definitely holding back. They're keeping to themselves. They're very silent during this time, not really saying a whole lot. It's because, or saying anything. Somebody here is just not saying anything. Keeping quiet. This could be that sleeping on the couch type energy, or keeping something to oneself, kind of requiring more alone time, needing time to reflect, to think. Someone's going through a pretty deep spiritual process. It's a deep spiritual process, and by that I think spirit's meaning that there's a lot of inner work someone's going through right now. A lot. They're having a lot of internal revelations. If this is an individual that has to speak to people like on a daily basis for work or something, they're not letting on to what they're actually going through. They're kind of just going through the motions, but deep down there's a lot going on with someone, or a lot going on with you. And what that is I kind of get a vibe, guys, that whoever this is, whatever life that they're in, whatever life that they're leading, there's a vibe of, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, or if this is really for me. It's really weird. I get a weird vibe from it. It's almost as if someone does have like they have a particular life. It's something that they're still holding on to. It's someone still kind of going through the motions. They're still holding on to their current situation. However, they're not really present. They may physically be there. Someone's physically in a situation, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, but they're not there. They're mentally or spiritually checked out. They're somewhere else. And it's because, okay, I've been there before. Usually when I experience what I'm feeling for cancers here, or for whoever's attached to your energy, I've definitely been through this. I go through it often, actually. When I go through this is usually when I'm having some sort of crazy awakening. So someone could be having a spiritual awakening here, and it's just not pleasant. It's happening on the inside, and meaning, okay, let's say you've went your whole life and you voted. A stupid example, but you went your whole life and you voted, or from the age that you could vote, you started voting, and you were really into politics and you were really into all this. But then one day, the universe comes in and kind of shoots you with lightning, but spiritually. And you have this kind of epiphany almost, or this awakening, and you're like, why the hell did I ever even do that? This shit don't even matter. It doesn't even, like, you realize the truth. Like, someone here is seeing the actual truth, not something else. It's the actual truth of a situation. They're questioning things. They're wondering why they're holding on to things. Now they're still holding on because it's almost like this tug of war, right? Like their spiritual self is calling them to drop everything and come with them. It's kind of like biblical. Who is it in the Bible that I think Jesus was like, leave everything? There was like a rich man and a poor man. See what I'm saying? Like, that's that vibe here in your message, where it's got, like, somebody has a specific lifestyle and they're holding on to it still, but their soul is actually telling them to leave it all behind and to trust the universe, that they're going to be more edified and fulfilled over here. But they would have to have complete faith in the process, and they would have to be isolated. They'd have to be lonely. Maybe they'd have to go through a loss or a lot of loss, and they just don't want to. Maybe they would worry about what society would think about them. Like, you know what I'm saying? How would this look? Like, is this, what would the person think? If there's another individual involved or others, what would they think, you know? And it's like, someone right now is avoiding their authentic truth, and they could feel rather lonely inwardly, even though on the outside they're surrounded by people. They may even have a partner they go home to at night. They may even have a lot of people at work throughout the day they're surrounded with. Whatever it is, someone on the outside is not at all exercising or practicing what's on the inside. because they're kind of at war with themselves. They don't know what to do. So they're looking to the universe for guidance, and the universe is like, we already gave you the answer. You know what to do. You just don't want to do it because your fear is keeping you stuck. Your fear is keeping you where you are. You're not actually stuck, but you think that you're stuck because you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Oh, look at all the things I'll lose. Look at all the stress. And what if it's not right? And there's so many people that'll get hurt. And it's like, the only thing that really ever truly hurts is living a lie. That's the true hurt. It's not following your authentic path, your truth. That's the worst thing you could ever do. And someone's been doing that. And maybe the life they've been leading up until now wasn't living a lie. It's what they really wanted. It's what they thought they wanted. But now someone is starting to realize their heart is calling for something else. And they're having a very hard time with the transition. So let's look up the message about the rich man. Let me just say it. It's a lot easier. The Rich Man and the Poor Man Bible Story.
According to Wikipedia, speaking to his disciples and some Pharisees, Jesus tells of an unnamed rich man and a beggar named Lazarus. When both die, the rich man goes to hell and implores Abraham to send Lazarus from his side in heaven to warn the rich man's family from sharing his fate.
Oh, there's a lot about being, like, something to do with rich. Maybe someone here they're wealthy. They have a significant amount of money. They have a great cushion for themselves. They've built themselves up. They were very proud. They want to hold on to this money. I think a lot of why someone is not actually taking the steps to follow what their soul is calling them to do, I'm just being honest, is because they're thinking about the money. That's the truth here. Someone's thinking about the money they're going to lose, because there's a reason I'm channeling this Bible verse, and I just keep wanting to cough. You can't be afraid to lose to gain your soul back, right? You have to be willing to lose. It's the complete opposite spiritually than it is in the 3D. Loss is actually what elevates you spiritually. You'll get the money later on, you know what I'm saying? Or what you lose, you'll get it back. It's about trusting the process. If you got to lose, you lose, so that your load is lighter for wherever you're going. There's a lot here about the rich and the poor that I'm pulling up on, and I'm getting let's see, like this one says 1 Timothy 6:17 through 18. I command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. And that's the whole message, really, that I'm getting. Someone doesn't have complete faith that the universe or God will take care of them. Maybe they're religious, maybe they're not, maybe they're spiritual, maybe they're not. I think they are spiritual at least. I really get that vibe. And they're going through an awakening, but they're fighting it. Someone's, like, they think that they can take whatever they've built up for them on earth with them when they leave. And they don't realize that whatever you lose, you'll get back. Wasn't it Job? I'm pretty sure in the Bible, the book of Job, didn't he take everything from Job? Literally everything. And wasn't it Job? And Job almost gave up. Job almost stopped believing. And even, wasn't he married and his wife was even trying to get him to denounce God or something? And Job still didn't, even though he literally lost everything. And he still had faith. Like, he still had faith. He never, ever gave up. I'm pretty sure it was Job. And he got it all back. God gave Job everything right back. But he had to be willing to lose it first. You see what I'm saying? The story of Job losing everything.
Job lost all of his property. His children died, and he suffered great physical agony. In the midst of his suffering, Job was visited by 3 friends. Though Job's friends intended to comfort him, they accused him of transgression.
The story is long, but basically, yeah, he lost his children too. His children died. And I think the devil was allowed to even make him sick. Like, legit. God allowed this. Job got deathly ill, but the one thing that the devil was not allowed to do was kill him, right? So he basically was suffering for no reason, although there was a definite reason, but he didn't deserve it. You see what I'm saying? Like, someone here is like, almost thinking like, why should I have to go through all this? But it's like, well, you're not the only one who's ever had to do it. There's plenty of other people who've lived faithful lives that are called for a bigger purpose. And it's like, okay, well, if you're called for a bigger purpose, and especially if someone wants to, like, do godly work here or lead people in some way or help people, especially spiritually or religiously, offer their services to, you know, protect people. It's like if you really want to be a true defender or protector of people, you want to help people genuinely, you have to be willing to lose. You have to be willing to lose. Do you trust, I guess is the message here, do you trust that what you lose, you not only will gain back, but you'll get even more? Like, think about that. I mean, yeah, it's nothing easy to do. Job, which Google says job, but Job lost his kids, lost his children. He lost all of his animals. He lost, which back then was your money. You know what I mean? He lost everything. Today it's still your money. Farmers and everything. Like this man was completely ruined. At least in his mind, he had nothing, but he had so much. He was completely rich in his heart. His soul was wealthy. It was wealthier than he ever was in the physical. My alarm just went off, so I guess it's time to get off here, but I hate cutting it short like that, but I think at some point the universe is going to get to that level too, where they're like, okay, we need you to make a decision. Either hold on to what you've got and leave the path alone, that we're showing you a new path. It's like the universe is showing cancers or Cancer Crosswatcher here a doorway. And it's like, you can walk through this, but you have to have faith. And there's no telling what you're going to lose. But you are going to lose. You are. And I think at some point the universe is like, we're just going to shut the door, because if you don't want to walk through it, you're holding up the line. You can't just stand here in the doorway. You either want spiritual enlightenment, you want spiritual freedom, you want true freedom, or do you want to be tied to the earth even more? Because you have the choice, but you can't ride the fence. I feel like someone's lukewarm here in your message. Someone's been riding the fence. They've been lukewarm. They are going through a pretty dark time because their heart wants to lead a different life than their ego is allowing them to do. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Someone just doesn't want to start over. They don't want to, maybe they're making excuses like, well, I'm older now. I don't want to have to, why should I, it's very, very much of this realm. It's not. So it's causing someone to kind of depression. It's causing someone internal sadness, even if they're not showing it on the outside, because what their soul is calling for is what they're depleting themselves of. It'd be like if your body is craving a specific something, it's because your body's trying to tell you something. Your body's trying to tell you this is what you need. You may be depleted in some sort of nutrient, and so your body can get it from this food. This is why you're craving it. And this is someone who's ignoring the signs, or they have been. They're terrified of loss. Loss sucks. I had built this channel up, okay? I've been on YouTube, actually on YouTube since 2015, but I used to do just funny shit. And then I started doing mukbangs, which is like eating ungodly amounts of food, but then I realized, oh, well, that's not good for bulimia. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't good for me. So I quit doing that dumb shit. And then I was like, I went through a spiritual awakening. I went through several of them. And I'm like, I can help people. I can actually help people through hell, because I am very well acquainted with it. So, which really pisses the devil off. It pisses the enemy off, whatever you want to call it. It pisses evil off, the shadow, things that are against you, when you are okay with facing it. Because what the shadow wants you to do is to ignore. It wants you to hide. It wants you to hold on and conceal. It would be like if God came to you and said, kind of like that Bible story that I just can't find, where he's like, give me everything that you own, right? And the poor man literally gives everything to Jesus, just gives it all, everything, but doesn't have anything, really, doesn't have a lot at all. It's like, okay, because the poor man's not afraid to lose. He's been losing. But the rich man is like, no, so the rich man's like, here you go, Jesus, but then pockets a little bit of it. I'm not going to get rid of everything. Well, the universe sees that. They see what somebody's willing to sacrifice. They see what someone's willing to lose, and what someone isn't. And I think judgment is happening right now. It's occurring because someone, their soul knows that the things of this earth don't matter. I think this is someone who does know it. They probably had loss in their life at some point before, and they just don't want to deal with loss again. So they hold on and they hold on because they just don't want to keep losing. Or maybe this is someone who's never lost at all. And so they're like, I definitely don't want to lose. So they're ignoring. They're being a little bit greedy here. Someone's being greedy and holding on to situations when they're not really fulfilled and happy and their soul is crying for freedom. And whoever this is knows that at the end of the day, none of these things matter, and they can't be taken with you in the coffin or the urn, whatever you get put in. You can't have any of it. And then you can make excuses all day, say it's for family, for children, for this, for that, you know, but if it's causing you to go against your soul, where is it actually leading you at the end of the day? Are you really holding on to something that is actually secure, or you only think that it's secure because it is what seems secure here? I mean, if we're talking about terms of Jesus, because I do feel somebody really religious here or very spiritual. If we're talking about terms of that, if they say, you know, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus didn't even own a home. Could build one if you wanted, though. Could build it himself. But he didn't. He traveled around. He was always traveling. He was always on foot. He was always leaving. You know, you could, in today's society, you would call that someone who's probably not very stable, okay, or a celebrity, but then they have like 7 homes, right? Jesus was just all over, and then would completely walk away from people when he was called by God, like completely walk away and pray and ghost people. Like today, you hear people bitching about that, but Jesus did it all the time. There weren't phones back then to check in on each other, right? So I feel like someone is actually being pushed to kind of spend time alone right now. And whether or not they have that, maybe they're too busy. I think they are going through the isolation internally. Could be surrounded by a whole bunch of people, could be sleeping with someone in the bed beside them, and they're still just checked out because their heart and their soul is crying for more, and they're completely avoiding it. But that's where we're going to leave it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.